In 2019, Detroit faced one of its historically hottest and driest summers. In the midst of it, the Detroit Water and Sewage Department shut off water for those who had not paid their bill 2 months prior.
Detroit residents could have their water shut off because of delinquent payments. It is an old problem that seems to have returned in a really big way.
Detroit Water and Sewage Department started shutting off water yesterday to those who haven't tried to get current on their...
Leaving residents without water to cook, clean, bathe, and drink.
Come to use the bathroom, we'll use it. We have a bucket. When the toilet gets full, we take our scooper. We scoop out whatever we have that's in here that's full. We've been doing it ever since they shut our water off.
While some may argue unpaid water utilities should be shut off, like gas or electric,
they can always tell you go pay it. But if I got to choose between feeding my kids this week or paying a water bill, I think my babies are gonna eat. My babies are gonna eat, and I'll go to a neighbor's house and get some water. I'll borrow a bucket of water for some.
In 2008, the national unemployment rate for African Americans was at an all-time low of 6.8%. Detroit, an 80% African American city, faces unemployment numbers higher than the rest of the state and the nation. In December of 2018, Michigan's unemployment rate was at 4.7%, whereas the city of Detroit stood at 8.7% unemployed. At this point in time, 38% of residents lived at or below the poverty line. 27,000 homes in Detroit were without running water. Nearing the end of 2019, the Detroit Water and Sewage Department had reported turning off water to more than 25,000 homes, restoring about 13.7 thousand, leaving about 11.2 thousand still lacking water, and 10,000 estimated to still be occupied. The shutoffs were the government's attempt at working its way out of one of the largest cases of bankruptcy in U.S. history. A decreasing population size met with an increasing cost of living forced residents to make impossible choices such as paying the water bill or paying their rent, further adding to the socioeconomic problems that arise as the gaps between the upper and lower class increase.
And next to the banks, on whom they place blame.
The banks should pay.
Detroit has been home to protests over the decades, but this one on the one-year anniversary of the city going into bankruptcy and still far away from a turnaround.
Detroit, America's blackest and poorest city. 42% of the people...
Citizens protest the department's actions in hopes of adopting a progressive water tax, meaning one that ties their income to the price they pay for their water.
For the poorest who cannot afford to pay their bill, they drink, bathe, and cook with donated bottled water, delivered by volunteer groups like the Water Brigade.
He a renter. I guess the owner of his property ain't been paying the water bill, and now, diabetic, he's not making a lot of money, he had a heart condition, high blood pressure, and he woke up, no water. He came around to my home and got 2 big buckets of water, took it back around and put it in my car.
Do we as a society view water as a simple commodity or a human right? We know that access to safe, clean drinking water is an issue globally, but is also an issue in a state surrounded by the largest body of fresh water on the planet.